that we have the shifter assembly out of the car, you will want to clean it up, because this is underneath the car and it's not shielded by anything. This is going to be really caked on with dirt. And luckily I found one that's in really good shape. As you can see, this is still the factory paint. It's held up very well. You can see it's still really shiny. Now that I have the shifter out of the car, I've noticed that this plate on the back is really rusted. I mean, it's not as bad as some of the stuff that I've seen up north. For example, Prince Valorum's, when he did his short shifter, this thing was just nothing but rust. So it's still in fairly good shape. That's why I wasn't too concerned with taking this one versus another one. I was pretty happy with this. I am pretty happy with this. What I want to do is disassemble this. That way you can see how the entire thing is assembled, start to finish. Clean the rust off. I'm not going to show actually cleaning it because, you know, that's tedious and stupid. I'm just going to use a wire brush for most of it. But I figured that some of you out there might want to see how this is assembled. First, we'll start with the shift knob. I have about 4 shift knobs. Every time I've seen one at a junkyard, I've started picking them up, and now I have a little collection. First thing you want to do is remove the shift knob. And that's a pretty long thread there. So you remove that, and then as you can obviously see, this rubber has to come off as well. This rubber is held down. I don't know if you can see those 2 little dots right there. There's 1 dot there and 1 dot there. On the back side, there are those little nubs that stick through, and once they go through, they kind of flare out and lock, so you have to be real careful when you disassemble that. Be real careful, take your time, and I'm guessing you pull down from the bottom the same time that you push in from here. And the older your car is, this is from a 94, but the older your car is, the more likely that you're going to break things like this, because the rubber becomes old and brittle. It just becomes like plastic. And now that that's off, take that off, and these white clips here are for mounting it. That's all that's for. That's for the trim console, I believe. So you don't have to remove those white clips. And as you can see, the rubber on this thing is really messed up, so I might replace it, I might not. It's not really that big of a deal, because I think there's supposed to be a shift boot that goes on top of this. I could be wrong. I mean, I haven't seen that many, but I think most people have leather shift boots. And once you get it to this stage of removal, let's go in here with the screwdriver. This rubber surrounding the shifter is different from this rubber that surrounds the plate. It's 2 pieces of rubber, 2 different pieces. Yeah, let's put that down. It is. There we go. And then just slide this up. You don't have to take this piece all the way off. And then you'll see the retaining clip in there for your shifter, but that's actually in a later step. So first we want to just get this rubber off. That is on there tight. Okay. And you can remove that and set that aside. Next, you will want to flip it over, get at the bottom, get a 10mm socket, get either a wrench or some pliers. I use Robo Grips. Grab that side of the nut. If this is on the underside of your car, these might be so rusted that you can't get a grip on them, and you might have to drill them out or something like that, or they might be so rusted that they're stuck, you might have to heat them out. But if you use a torch or flame, just remember that this is a rubber mount right here, and you will catch that on fire. Now I've already gone ahead and unscrewed this. I just lost my nut. And then remove the pin, and now this is free to come out, and you can pull that whole thing out like so. And the retaining ring is still in there, and that's only if you want to remove the shifter. I just want to get at the plate so that I can clean the plate and then put it back together. If you want to remove the shifter, just remove this retaining clip, and this should come right out. As you can see, this bolt mount for the rubber mount is severely rusted. So in order to take that off or remove that, you just have to pry both of these ends apart, and it's just a rod in there like so, and then you can take your wire brush to that and clean that up and then stick it right back in there. Alright, now in order to put this rubber mount on, it just simply goes on the end there, and in order to take it off, it's easiest to pull it to one side and then up and over like so. On the other side is this fairly large rubber mount. In order to get that off, you have to pry this whole flat side up and away and then push the whole thing through it. And I can imagine that's not easy. Thankfully, this looks like it's in almost brand new perfect shape, so I don't have to do that. But if you were going to do that, that's how you do it. I did notice that the end of my shifter is missing a bushing, so I know that I can find those. But I'm thinking maybe I'll just get a short shifter instead, as long as I have this disassembled. And it's still going to be some amount of time before I even get to try and do the trans swab. There's still a lot more preparation work to do. Prince Valorum said that he might have a short shifter, and if not, I could probably find one online that is compatible. And I think that should just about do it for the shifter disassembly. Cleaned up fairly well, and I plan on painting this with some type of chassis saver paint. Haven't decided what kind. I know Pour 15, a lot of guys recommend that. Or I might take it to the same place that I got my valve cover powder coated. I don't think I'll have it powder coated again. I'll just have them paint it with some rust protecting kind of paint, some chassis paint. Definitely on the menu, because this bottom part is exposed to the elements, and especially this bracket. The bottom part of this bracket seems to rust the most out of any part in the shifter assembly. Not just on this particular assembly, but in 66s, probes, MX6s in general. This thing is going to go real quick. Well, not real quick. Let's just say 15-20 years it'll go, but for you guys up north, it might go between 10 and 15 years before this just completely rusts out. And it's fairly easy to make if you needed to take this to a machine shop and have them fabricate something. You know, it's real simple. It's no-brainer to create something like this. Maybe we could even have some of our own guys like Prince Valorum or some of our fabricators create something like this. There wouldn't be a need to create an upgrade for it, just the same thing, because they rust. So that's all there is to the shifter disassembly video, and now all you have to do is reassemble or paint and reassemble, sand, reassemble, whatever. Up to you. At least now you know how it's done. Cool.